would first like to introduce the Wall of Fame committee members, besides Roberta and myself. If they would stand. Kathleen Arrowood is our chairperson. Richard Frampton, not able to be with us, also is Bill Ringler. So I'd like to thank them for all the time and effort that they have put in putting this program together. At this time, I'd like, if you're a member, already a member of the Oxford Athletic Wall of Fame, if you would stand, please. Gotta move away so I can see if you have something. You'll look around. We as a committee would like to thank the Oxford Area School District, the high school, for allowing us this opportunity and for the use of the facilities. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Woods, who is the superintendent of the Oxford School District.
Thank you so much. I'm David Woods, superintendent of the Oxford Area School District, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to James S. Harrow Auditorium this evening to recognize, well, two recognitions really, the current Oxford Area Wall of Fame inducted persons, and 3 people, 5 total, of our inductees here this evening. You know, as I looked over their vast resumes, if you will, of what they've accomplished in their lives, they span generations. But 3 things, which happen to be our vision statement here at the Oxford Area School District, keep cropping up, which is kids first, progress, and unity. And they've certainly, throughout their careers, put kids first. Some being educators, some being former educators, some working with youth as they graduated, went on to post-secondary, and coached. So it's always amazing to me to see how the tenets of Oxford, what they've learned here, or what they've taught here, keep coming back generation after generation. So again, congratulations to the inductees this evening. Thank you so much to the members of the Oxford Wall of Fame and all the work that you do to bring this program forward. I hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you.
I refuse to allow my age to be an excuse for someone I forgot to mention, despite being on my notes here. Julie Warner-Donnell, member of our committee, and I'm sorry that I admitted you there a minute or 2 ago. So let's give her a round of applause. The first inductee this evening is Jean Brubaker. Mrs. Brubaker, or Mrs. B, as she was often called, taught girls phys ed at Oxford from 1965 to 1989. In the early years, girls wore one-piece uniforms, and part of the grade was determined by how clean and how pressed they were. There were only 3 girls' sports at the time: cheerleading, field hockey, and basketball. She coached varsity hockey and basketball for a number of years. And at the time, girls' basketball, there were 6 girls on the court at the same time. 2 could only play in the forecourt, 2 could play in the backcourt, and then you had 2 that could go the whole way. So things had changed since she was coached. Jean said the teams were never very good, though at times she did have some good players. One instance she mentioned that the assistant principal came to her and said that they were having trouble discipline-wise with the young lady. She was constantly in trouble. She was of good size and aggressive, so she asked Jean if she would try to talk her into coming out for basketball. And reluctantly, Jean said yes. and the girl ended up being one of the best players on the team. You know, competitive spirit knows no age limit. In 1991, some friends of the Swanko senior sitter suggested she take part in the Lancaster County Senior Games. Jean would, over the next 15 years, compete in Florida, Virginia, Louisiana, and Arizona, winning over 200 medals and awards at the state and national senior games. Jean competed in shot put, discus, javelin, high jump, long jump, softball and football throws, hot shot basketball, and as a member on a volleyball team named the Spunky Ladies. She reminded me today as I went over this list that I had forgot handball, so I wanted to make sure I said that tonight. She won gold in the national games in 1999, 2001, 2003, and 2005 in shot, discus, and javelin. Actually, she was only 3 of 4 in javelin. She settled for the bronze in 2005. Thomas, she might have given you a run for your money. In 2004, Jean was named the AARP Pennsylvania Senior Athlete of the Year. By 2004, it comes to the point where there were some competitors that were admitting to her that they were a bit scared of her at age 77. While other competitors were coming up to her and telling her she was their idol and their inspiration. I hope I am helping them, she said at the time, just like she helped that basketball player decades before. Jean is now 98 years young, living at the Presbyterian home in Quarryville. Her mind is still sharp, but she wasn't sure she would physically be able to make the trip down here tonight. Her 3 daughters, 13 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren live in Florida, Tennessee, and California. One wall of her apartment is filled with frames of medals and awards from the national competitions. She said there isn't room for the state and county ones. The huge AARP Pennsylvania Senior Athlete of the Year trophy sits proudly on top of a bookcase. And without any exaggeration, that trophy is about this tall, probably half the height of Jean. Ever the proud athlete, when I asked her if I could take her picture, she replied, yes, but I don't want my walker in the picture. Earlier today at the Presbyterian home in Quarryville, the folks there had a reception where Jean was publicly recognized and inducted into the Oxford Athletic Wall of Fame and received her Wall of Fame plate. Thank you, Jean. Thomas Paxson, class of 1988. During his high school career, Thomas played football as an offensive and defensive lineman, lettering 3 years. He wrestled for 2 years, played baseball for 2 years, and then switched to indoor and outdoor track and field. As a junior, in his first year in track and field, Thomas began collecting medals. First off, teaming up with John Fowler to finish first in shot put and second in discus at the late relays. He finished second in both of those events in the SCCL championship meet and placed 4th in the district meet. In 1988, his senior year, Oxford began an indoor track program. In shot put, Thomas went undefeated in local meets that were held at Happinford and Westchester colleges. He went on to finish second in the state championship meet that was held at Lehigh University. His senior season, Thomas had perhaps the greatest season an Oxford thrower has ever had. He was undefeated in the league in shot and placed first in the league championship meet, breaking the league record that has stood since 1965. He placed first at the district meet and third at the state championship meet, with a school record throw of 53 feet 2, which was the school record for a long time, and I'm trying to check to see if possibly it may still be. In discus that year, he was league champion, placed second in districts, and fourth in states. So in 1988 at districts, he finished first in shot, second in discus, and third in javelin. And at the state championship meet, finished third in shot and fourth in discus. He was recruited by Division II colleges and went to Shippensburg, where he played football and threw shot, before transferring to the University of South Florida. Thomas?
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I thought I brought a rowdy crowd with me, but I don't really hear any of the rowdiness. I'd say when I was reflecting on my time here and thinking about what I want to say, I was kind of overwhelmed with a feeling of gratitude. Gratitude that my family and friends could be here with me, and gratitude that I had this influence of all the coaches around. I saw Scott going in there, we got to catch up a little bit. But also gratitude that we hold events like this still. It just seems important to me that we can pull people out of the past and recognize them in a way like this, that it just feels meaningful, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. You know, my years here at Oxford were some of the best in my life, and I think sports played a huge part of that. I participated in sports mostly because it's where my friends were. It felt good to be part of the camaraderie of sports. So most of my great memories about sports here are the bus trips to an event or practices, not specifically winning a championship or an event like the state meet. It was about the time we spent together. You know, let me take it back in time real quick. In 1988, there was a robust sports program here in Oxford. Now, I don't know what added on sports we have right now, but the ones we had were really good. Denny Bumgarner was in his second year of football, and I think in our junior year we were 9-1, and we had a 2,000-yard rusher, Scott Gold the third, I believe. And then our senior year we were 7-2, and we were dominant. We got to beat up on Rising Sun a lot. We smacked around Unionville a little bit. I think we beat Andy Reid's kids at tackle one year. So, you know, it's a fabulous memories there. And that's when I started to get a little bit of recognition and attention by the Division II colleges. You know, after football was the wrestling team. And I think when I first met Scott Gold, the Hall of Fame coach who's actually here tonight, was my first week of high school. I was walking in the hallway and he stopped me and he kind of looked me up and down and he said, I don't have a heavyweight wrestler. I'll see you at practice. And I was like, I'm not a wrestler. I've never wrestled a day in my life. Nothing happened. So he would occasionally talk to me. And then when the football season ended, I thought I was going to get a little break. I was at dinner one night and my dad said, hey, I heard you're wrestling. I said, no, I told that guy I'm not wrestling. I have no interest in wrestling. And then Pop said, yeah, you're wrestling. And if you guys knew my father, I was wrestling. So I was not a very good wrestler to start, to be honest. You know, I earned that varsity letter even though I didn't have any experience. And you know, wrestling is a tough sport. You're out there one-on-one by yourself. There's no hiding. Similar to being up here right now, frankly. But you know, learning on the go in front of that crowd, one-on-one at the end of the meet, we're a team that is as dominant as Oxford was. We were winning all the matches, and then we get to the heavyweight meet, and then on a sour note, I was getting beat. But I got better, and the years, you know, progressed there. But not the track team, but the wrestling team was a dominant sport, and it felt really great to be in that moment relationship with Aylesworth, who I wish was here. I've asked around, no one seems to know where James Aylesworth is, but he had a way of making me feel really seen in the moment. And coming off of that senior indoor season, he challenged me to be a better a better track and field athlete. He said, let's set some goals. And I said, all right, let's set some goals. And he said, how about going undefeated? How about winning in the district, winning in the state championship? I said, all right. So he sent me down to a powerlifting team, the West Nottingham Academy, where I went 2 days a week. And I lifted with their team. The only caveat the coach was that I had to lift with that team at their end of the year tournament. So I did. And I won the tournament at 242-pound weight class. And honestly, I think I had to run a couple miles to get to that weight. It was like I was back in wrestling, which is really embarrassing to say out loud. But it was meaningful, and actually it made me a more explosive thrower, and I benefited from it. As Mr. Farmer said, I was undefeated at the local meets. I took a lot of pride in that, and placed and got myself all the way up to the States. So actually having that state throw be the best throw of my career was really a wonderful experience, because it felt good to be building up to something, and then when it really needed it, it was there. So I'm really thankful for that, and I'm thankful for all those coaches along the way. I'll say this. Last thing I want to leave you with is family is really important to me. It's the most important thing to me. And it feels good to have my family here, to spend this time with me, but my father passed away in January, and he was my biggest supporter. He went to all of my meets, all of my games, all of my matches. It didn't matter close or far, he was there. And I think he really enjoyed tonight. He was here. I know I have. So, I have to say on behalf of my family, my friends, and myself, thank you so much. It's been a really nice night.
Our next inductee is an accomplished swimmer and a member of the class of 2019. Michael Fazio unfortunately cannot be here with us tonight, but we know he is excited and thankful to be inducted into the Wall of Fame, as the swim teams meant so much to him, and he enjoyed representing the school. Michael placed first in many events while an Oxford Hornet, both in high school and YMCA meets, but his biggest achievement as a Hornet was winning 3 individual state medals. His first was in 2017 with a 4th place finish in the 200-yard freestyle, followed by 2 medals in 2019. They were 5th in the PIAA meet in the 100 freestyle, and then a 3rd place medal in the 50-yard freestyle. Please note that was 3 medals in 3 different distances. After graduating, Michael went on to swim for Townsend University. As a sophomore, he helped that university win its first ever Colonial Athletic Association Men's Swimming and Diving Championship. They won while he was the winning person for the 100 freestyle, and he was a member of the winning freestyle teams of both the 400 and 800 yards. In that same meet, Michael also placed second in 2 other events. Those winning ways continued throughout his college career. And just like in high school, during his time at Townsend, Michael earned 3 individual medals at 3 different distances in the Colonial Athletic Association Championships. Except this time, it was 1 second place medal and 2 first place medals. We're very happy to be able to congratulate Michael on his accomplishments and add his name to the Sports Wall of Fame. So give him a round of applause. Lakeisha Fairley Lemons is a member of the graduating class of 2001. She participated in that team. While a high school student, Lakeisha also won events in the individual 400-meter races and was a record-holding champion high jumper. After Oxford, Lakeisha ran for Albright College near Reading and continued to excel. She ran in both indoor and outdoor meets, specializing in that 400-meter run. She was the first female athlete to run under a minute in the indoor track and field 400-meter race at Albright College and MAC, the Middle Atlantic Conference. You don't mind, it's back there. Ghost. For 3 years in a row at Albright, Lakeisha was named the most outstanding women's track and field athlete of the year. That was from 2002 to 2004. And it's no surprise here that she was the winner of that NAC championship, 400-meter indoor track championship in those 3 years, breaking records. Her racing included the 4x400 relay, the 200-meter race, the 4x100 relay, and she also participated in the long jump, setting the school record. In fact, Lakeisha set many of her college records and still holds some of those records today. Lakeisha was a recipient of the National Student Athlete Award for commitment to excellence in academics, athletics, and community service, and she made the honor roll for the Middle Atlantic Conference. Her athletic excellence was recognized with her induction into the Athletic Hall of Fame at Albright College in 2017, the first African-American female so included. And tonight we're most happy to induct her into the Oxford Sports Hall of Fame. Lakeisha.
I wrote a little dissertation. Good evening, everyone. What an incredible honor it is to stand here tonight as your new inductee into the Oxford Sports Wall of Fame. I want to start by expressing my gratitude to the selection committee, the organization, and everyone who played a part in making tonight possible. To stand here today, I think about my journey, my struggle, and my growth. Tonight is not just about me. Tonight I honor my village that has supported me along the way. I dedicate this recognition to you, but especially to my mom. Wednesday will mark 27 years that my mom has watched over me. She was my #1 supporter. She would come to all of my track meets. She would watch my meets from the car when she was so weak to stand, and spend the whole day at a hospital window just so she knew that she was there cheering me on. She believed in me before I had the confidence to believe in myself. She would always say, run fast, run scared. Think of that one thing that scared you the most and run as fast as you can from it. And then I thought about the thing that scared me the most, and it was failure. I was afraid of failing. Therefore, I ran every race like it was my last, because in this sport, nothing's really promised. You're only as good as your last race. Injuries happen, life happens, and watching my mom face her battles with the kind of strength that I couldn't even describe, I learned early on that every moment really matters, to take every single step, never to take any single step for granted. So every time I stepped out on the track, I ran with a purpose. I ran for her. I ran with the fire of someone who knew that tomorrow wasn't granted. I ran with the heart of someone who raised me with the biggest courage. That mindset got me through the hardest days and pushed me to give everything I had, even when I felt broken, tired, discouraged, and had nothing left. I never wanted to leave the track with regrets. Whether win or lose, I wanted to cross the finish line knowing I gave every bit of myself, every stride, every breath, every heartbeat. That mindset didn't just shape my performance, it shaped who I am today. I have stood in front of many different crowds in my lifetime, receiving medals, being acknowledged for making history, breaking records, winning multiple championships, representing the United States of America for Miss USA, winning Teacher of the Year, and being a finalist for the Washington Post Teacher of the Year. But this moment right here is where it all began. It feels full circle to me. I get to share this moment with my 88-year-old grandmother who raised me, my childhood best friend Mallory, my cousin, my second family, Missy and Daddy Steve, who were not afraid to ruffle some feathers and stand up for me whenever they needed to. My dad, Mr. Gardner, who fought for me to receive scholarships to college. My brothers who cheered the loudest from the stands, especially my youngest brother, Zach, and their beautiful spouses. And I can't forget my rock, my best friend, my wife, Tony, and my incredible son, Noah. He is the reason why I do what I do. So, tonight is not just for me, it is for my family who has always been there for me, and I am extremely thankful and grateful for you. So, this is for us, but I'm just gonna keep it at my house. Thank you.
James Gordon, class of 1969. Jim. Jim developed an interest in sports at a young age. During high school, he seemed to be drawn towards what he called behind-the-scenes involvement. And for the next 50-plus years, he's been very involved in some way or other in the local sports scene. Let me share some of Jim's involvements with you. He coached Oxford Little League's boys t-ball, coached in the league's junior, major, and senior divisions, and in the girls' softball senior division. He served as the scorekeeper for Oxford's American Legion baseball team. Jim was the high school's assistant volleyball coach from 1994 to 2000. Perhaps most notably, Jim has photographed many of Oxford's sporting events over the years, and he wrote sports articles for the Oxford Tribune. I'd like to mention one of those articles, which I believe he should have been nominated for a Pulitzer Prize in journalism. I have an example, or I have a copy of it here. He wrote this in March of 1999. It's entitled, "Richard Farmer retires his girls' track and field coach." Pulitzer period. I'd also like to mention that Jim has been the photographer in every Wall of Fame induction ceremony since its beginning in 2001, at no charge. That's 22 of them, and I guess the streak ends tonight. Jim has truly been a friend, a supporter, a contributor to the Oxford sports community. Jim?
I'll try to keep my time limit down over
me on video. Two things that are strange to me tonight. I'm not used to standing on this side of the microphone. Usually I'm sitting in the first row, right down here, with my camera in hand ready for action. I'm not used to talking about myself. I'm always glad to share about other people, so you'll see plenty of that throughout my talk tonight. My daughter calls me a walking history book. I will share what others have said and done, how I have benefited and improved. Two words I would like to emphasize tonight: legacy and service. Generally, legacy means the long-lasting impact of particular events or actions that took place in the past. Specifically, I would like to dwell on sports legacy in the Oxford High School and the Oxford community. This past year, I was in a local family business office. I was introduced to one of the employees by a young man who's in the audience tonight, a current member of the Wall of Fame. I was introduced as a legend in the Oxford area. That's a quote. Thank you for your kind words, Jared Hofstetter. I thought later, is that really how people think about me? You're probably curious as to why I'm being presented with this award tonight. I never scored 20 points in a basketball game. Never scored a winning touchdown, never hit a home run like my son Everett. But I did play JV baseball for only 1 year in high school, as after that 1 year, I needed to work after school. That was an important year for me though. I played for a coach that taught how to play the game properly. He taught not by just giving instructions, but by example. By his example, I was able to do likewise in my years of coaching. The coach I'm speaking of, Mr. Tom Hickey, thank you, Mr. Hickey, for your part of my life. He's sitting right out here. This is just a part of the legacy I speak of. Going back further, I referenced my father's baseball playing days at Oxford High School. He graduated in 1943. His coach was Mr. Francis Coates. Mr. Coates graduated from high school in 1931. He played for 4 years. He returned to Oxford to teach and coach. He was in the first Wall of Fame class. My dad told me many stories about Mr. Coates' baseball teams and how he was proud to play for him. This is the stuff legacies are made of. Also playing for Mr. Coates was my father-in-law, Cheney Wilson, who graduated in 1938, who played both soccer and baseball. After graduating from Oxford, my father-in-law moved to northern New Jersey to serve in the Army. He married and settled in North New Jersey. When they came back to Oxford to visit in the 1970s, I met my wife. Then I rescued her from New Jersey. She was anxious to move back to Oxford. And the legacy continued with our children, Eden and Everett, becoming involved in Oxford sports. In my many years of coaching Little League, I was able to help with every age and level of players. One specific game I recall, we took a team of all-stars of 12-year-olds to Westchester. help the situation. We concentrated on getting every player in the game. We used about 4 catchers that day, so they wouldn't get overheated wearing the catcher's equipment. It wasn't a high-scoring game. We ended up on the short end of the score, 3-2. But each player still enjoyed being a part of the game. Walking to our cars after the game, one of the parents remarked to me, "That was one of the best coach games I have ever seen." Thank you. Thank you, Mark Whiteman, for those kind words. And that coming from one of the best outfielders to have played at Oxford. Again, legacy comes into play, because Mark's father, Bill Whiteman, played with my father in the 1940s. And Mark's sons played ball with my son. Another event which happened this past year, where a classmate of mine was watching a grandchild sporting event and something happened that sparked a memory. She shared with me that reminded me of you coaching, Mr. Gordon. Thank you, Sue Townsend, for your remembrance. I'm going to hold this up. I hope you all got one of these in the cafeteria. But on the back page, you'll see the inductees so far from 01 to 24. When you get home tonight, you'll be able to see on the back page of the program the many inductees currently in the Wall of Fame. Scan over the list of names and you will see the many different sports represented by the many inductees. Where I probably fit in would be the support role category, along with the Hubleys, the Hess family, John Lilly, and who could forget Dr. Baring. If you were ever a patient of his, seated in his dentist chair, you would be a captive audience. For his dissertations on sports, especially football and wrestling, you received a real education in his dental office. And always encouraging was one person always greeting me in the hallways or on the sidewalks by calling me Coach or Coach Gordon. Thank you, Mr. Woodward. It's always been encouraging. Many have been the stories told right here in these induction ceremonies. Who can forget Bill Ringler's famous story of when he was a skinny freshman playing basketball? I'm sorry he's not here tonight, but the next time you get to see him, you need to ask him to replay it for you. He made it sound so real and so exciting. We had Mr. Ken Woodward, Mr. Ken Howell, sitting on the platform as the MCs that night, falling off their chairs, laughing. This is all inclusive in the legacy of Oxford sports, but important also is service. As Gary Ham stated last year, he filled the position of field hockey coach when needed, and I likewise helped with the volleyball coaching when my daughter came home from school saying that a volleyball coach was needed. And through photography, I've been able to help submit sports articles in the Oxford Tribune, thanks to Betsy Brantner. And several articles, and Mr. Farmer has already referred to one, and I saw it today as I was thumbing through my scrapbook. A couple others were Evan Draper, and the highlight of that article, he had a Bible in one hand and a basketball in the other, and that was the title of the article. That was also in '99, a Bible and a basketball, talking about his faith. I did an article on Brad Canan. Now he's from Christmas vacation playing hardball in Australia. And of course, there's a local standout. I'm not sure where they're located now, but she was popular and a standout in golf. Kim Strong. That's Dr. and Mrs. Strong's youngest daughter. And in conclusion, the Wall of Fame photographs in the cafeteria are a gift I've had the pleasure to donate for the enjoyment of the school and the community for many years. Thank you for your attention.
I'd like to congratulate all the members of the Oxford Sports Wall of Fame, especially our 3 new members. Your words were very well said and very important for us to reflect on. We would also like to thank all of you for your attendance, especially on this gloomy night. We appreciate your support for this event and for our inductees. We would really like you to please share suggestions and information for new candidates that you believe are worthy of inclusion. Please give your recommendations to any of us committee members. We'd also like you to understand that for this Wall of Fame to continue to grow, it does take funding. For the plaques to hang in the cafeteria, the mailings, the programs, and the refreshments. So this is the begging aspect of tonight. As you leave, there will be committee members at the doors of the auditorium hoping for donations. Please know we appreciate your support and your generosity. We would also like to thank Shirley Hess and her family for the beautiful plates that have been awarded. You 3, I think you're getting my 3 favorites so far. Congratulations. We'd like to thank Dominic Patton, the Communications Director for the school district, for being the photographer tonight, and to committee member Julie Donnell for the beautiful flower arrangement. We would like to present these flowers to Mrs. Carolyn Hess afterwards as a thank you for her many years of support and for the making of these beautiful plates year after year. She always does an outstanding job. Now let's give one last round of applause for these 3 people here. You and appreciate you all. Whether you're involved with the school or you've traveled far to support a friend or you're just interested in seeing this program continue, thank you so much. We hope to see you here again next year. Have a safe journey home. Good night.